Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 13th of June 2023. So just a little collection of thoughts today before I head on up to this thing in Wimbledon later on. So the amount of stuff the sort of mainstream have to swallow and have to take, you almost have to feel sorry for them, don't you? Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I mentioned in yesterday's video about that absolute stupid thing about moving the earth away from the sun. If you haven't seen that yet, watch yesterday's video. It's absolutely hilarious and just one of the many nonsenses mainstream people have to swallow and have to take. But you add on to it all of the climate nonsense they have to take. They have to accept the fact that there's whatever we're up to now, 89, is it, different genders or whatever. They have to put up with all of that kind of nonsense as well. They have to put up with all of the ridiculous stuff that comes out of the BBC. They have to put up with endless jibby-jabbies every couple of months or whatever it is. And at this time of year and this hot weather that we're currently experiencing here in the UK, if you go around a lot of people's houses, instead of seeing all the windows and doors open, letting the fresh air through to cool the place down, you'll see everything sort of shut up tight, all the windows closed tight, all the doors closed tight. And that's all thanks to the BBC telling them that it's the best thing to do in hot weather. And you know, in my job I go to people's houses and it's stifling hot in there, and you just think, well, there's a nice bit of a breeze blowing outside. If you just open your doors and windows, you'd get that to cool you down through your house and everything. So this is just another nonsense that, you know, mainstream people have to accept. And like I say, you have to feel sorry for them a little bit. Although on the other hand, these people are their own worst enemy, aren't they? You know, you can always switch off the BBC and just start to watch some real news instead from UK Column News or the Unity News Network or whatever your choice is on that. But there's plenty of options out there now to get the real news. So much so, it's actually starting to worry the mainstream a bit, isn't it? I know the BBC have done that hit piece on the Light newspaper, haven't they? So basically saying that it's a conspiracy theory newspaper, misinformation, all of the sort of nonsense, and yeah, totally ignoring the fact that it's them, the Light newspaper, who are giving people the truth, whilst they, the BBC and the other mainstream news outlets, are the ones who are doling out the misinformation. But the fact they're even talking about it shows that they're worried. What was that old thing that I saw and talked about, yeah, quite a long time ago, a year or so ago? What these people do is, when you're onto the truth and you're telling the truth, first of all, the powers that shouldn't be ignore you. So they've ignored the Light newspaper all this time since its inception, which is a good, probably coming up for 3 years ago now. But then the second stage, which we're clearly in now, is they ridicule it and kind of diss it and sort of call it out for being a load of nonsense, even though it's not. And then we sort of go on from there. Then the sort of real gloves come off and the censorship starts. And then stage 4 is you win. So anyone connected with the Light newspaper who is watching this and you're not enjoying this BBC hit piece on you, well, you're halfway to victory. So that's the positive way of looking at that, isn't it? I haven't commented on it yet. the Nicola Sturgeon arrest, I'm sure almost everybody who watches these videos were highly, you know, whether you're north or south of the border, were highly delighted in hearing that news, although you probably weren't so pleased to see that she was released without charge in pretty short order, which seems bizarre to me. Okay, I'm no expert in the law and how these things work really, but I'd have thought if you're the police, why arrest someone if you're not confident in being able to charge them? You either are confident in that and then go and arrest them and then charge them, or you just pull them in for questioning without arresting them. So what's that all about? It just seems to be a bit bizarre, but hopefully it would be delightful if we ended up seeing her going to prison, or at least having her sort of reputation absolutely trashed, you know, with a criminal record and a fine at the very least. So it's no less than what she deserves. And of course, if you're watching this video, you'd probably sort of be thinking, well, she should be sort of getting arrested and charged for way more than financial irregularities. You know, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about there, as should all of these other politicians. But maybe what's happening, I don't know. This is just purely and simply a bit of conjecture, just putting it out there. Maybe there's good people at work who know they can never get these politicians on what they really should be done for, but they're going after them with things like this instead, to at least get them out of office and hopefully maybe some kind of criminal charge eventually as well. Kind of a bit like the Al Capone thing, isn't it? That the authorities in his day couldn't do him for what they really wanted to do him for, you know, all of the violence and the murders and the fraud and all of that kind of thing. But they got him on just purely and simply tax evasion or whatever it was in the end, and got him in jail for quite a few years, didn't they? So is the same thing happening with the likes of Johnson and Sturgeon and all of the rest of it? I don't know. Just, yeah, leave a comment in the comment section below on that.
So, back at home, and do you know what? I was thinking when I was sitting there in my vehicle that I wanted to say something else and I couldn't remember. It just went out of my head, although I did know it was an item of news, and I've remembered it now. I've seen apparently that in this year's Tour de France, well, I don't know if it relates to the competitors or the spectators or everyone, but everybody has been asked, or people, should I say, have been asked to observe lurgy restrictions once again. So you're going to have to go and do that, and the social distancing and all of the other nonsense. Apparently that's what I've read. One of the cycling magazines featured that, and my question has got to be, why? Surely we're over this absolute idiocy now. Why did people insist on prolonging it anymore? You know, especially when everybody knows now, I think, either what a load of nonsense it was, or at least they're starting to suspect not everything was as it seems. So, bizarre one, isn't it? Anyway, not going to dwell on that too much. I'm going to finish this today. I'm going to get up to this Wimbledon thing, get in the shower, get changed, and get up to this thing in Wimbledon tonight. So if you're going, I'll see you in a little bit. But just to finish on a nicer note, I've got a channel recommendation for you. I've got my latest channel that I found and subscribed to personally, so I thought I'd pass it on to you. And I'm even more delighted to say that it's a lady. most of these channels that I watch and recommend have seemed to have been with blokes, you know, like Martin, Lee, Nigel Watson and all of the rest of them. But at last I've got a lady to recommend. I actually met her at the Better Way conference a couple of weeks ago. Very nice lady, had a chat with her for a while, and it was actually her who gave me the tip of using the Park and Ride, because I was using the city centre car park for the first day and thinking, blimey, you know, this is really expensive, and if I have to do this all 3 days that I'm there, it's going to bankrupt me pretty much. And then she said, well, you know, just do the Park and Ride. It only costs £3.60 sort of return bus journey, and you can park there for free all day. So I thought that was a great thing, so I did it. Saved a lot of money thanks to this lady, and she's called Mean Queen Super Scrimper. So that gives you a clue about what her channel's about, or one of the things that her channel's all about. Her actual name is Alona, I believe. So hello if you're watching. I think she watches this channel sometimes. And yeah, I've been watching a few of her latest videos, and they're very entertaining. She's quite a characterful person. I think you'll like her. And she does have these kind of money saving tips, and she's on board with us, of course, and the way we think. You know, she was in today's, or her most recent video, she was talking about losing cash and how we must fight against that and this kind of thing. So yeah, a really good one to recommend. And she has been suffering a little bit from troll-itis recently, apparently. So let's get her a few new subscribers to kind of and viewers to counteract that a little bit. And yeah, just thought I'd finish this video doing something nice for someone. And you know, it's not just out of niceness, I can recommend her channel as well. So I'll leave her latest video in the sort of description box below and in the comment section below. Go and check her out, and if you're going to Wimbledon tonight, I'll see you there as well. And I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.